Hello friends, welcome back to another video. So today I will review each episode from the second half of season 15 individually. So season 15 basically ended, which means that with this video I will finish reviewing every episode from season 15. So let's get started. 90% of this episode is just action, and I really don't find this type of action to be entertaining or enjoyable to watch, so this episode isn't really for me. I like these episodes that are nothing but action, like episode 8 from season 13 or episode 12 from season 12, but this episode's action is just really boring and not creative at all. The Hydro Bounty is escaping, but Calamar and his army are chasing them. That's just boring in my opinion, and that's the entire episode. Nothing else happens other than the last scene with the ninja talking to Benthomar. That was an okay scene, nothing too special. So overall, this episode is pure action and I don't like it at all, but I wouldn't say it's a terrible episode because I didn't find any really bad aspects. I just don't like this type of action, so I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I honestly expected this episode to be in the anime style because backstory episodes like 24 and 9 from season 11 and 13 are exactly the same as this episode and they are both in anime style. But surprise surprise, it's in normal animation style. But anyways, I want to appreciate how good looking the underwater temple and locations are. They are really well designed. This episode focuses on Calamar and Benthomar and their relationships, which was okay. Benthomar isn't a great character in my opinion. No offense, but I really dislike his voice acting, especially in this episode. His design is good and his personality is okay. He kept trying to be good with his brother and have a good relationship with him, but Calamar kept ignoring him, which shows how selfish and arrogant Calamar is, until he used Benthomar to find the Temple of Ujir, which was pretty evil. Overall, I think that this is a good episode. The backstory is interesting, Calamar is a really good character, the locations are beautiful, but I really don't like Benthomar. Calamar's father is okay, and I say that Calamar is good, but I honestly hate his motives. Why does he want to awaken Ujira? Why is he so sure that she won't kill him after he awakens her? At least Mori knew what he was doing with the preeminent, as he literally spent years inside of it, and Garmadon killed the creature who killed her parents for Harumi. But Calamar is just being stupid, honestly. So overall, I'm giving this episode a 7.5 out of 10. This is the episode that gave season 14 a purpose. We saw the keepers again and I honestly didn't expect them to be like this. They are protecting the emerald for thousands of years and their whole purpose is to protect it. And in the end they hand it to the ninja this easily and quickly. That's extremely illogical. What's worse is that it was stolen from them and they didn't even notice until now. And what's even worse is that Clutch Power stole it. But the episode isn't bad. There was some cool Calamar scenes. The trick they wanted to do to him with the fake amulet was cool and the action in this episode is decent. I'll give this episode an 8 out of 10. I hated the Explorers Club in season 11, but here it's even worse. What do they mean with we laugh in the face of the ninja? That's easily one of the most annoying and cringy things I've ever seen in my life. It's really cringy. All of the Explorers, including Clash Powers, are there just to be annoying. The riddle of Sphinx or whatever it's called is just weird. Why does it even exist? What does it have with being able to enter the club or not? It's really out of place. The action, however, was really good. The story of Niad and Nia being named after her was really clever, and I liked how they gave Nia as the name a purpose and a real motive behind it, not just a random name they gave to Nia. You also have Nia summoning whales, which is an extremely creative use of the element of water. Overall, the Nia stuff was really good, but I hate the Explorers Club, and the idea of the riddle of Sphinx or whatever it's called again is out of place and it didn't need to exist. I'll give this episode a 6 out of 10. There are two great things about this episode, the action and the references. I love the action and how fluid and creative it was. The references are also great. We saw Nagami, and most past villains were referenced like Nadikan, Oni, Serpentine, etc. And those scenes were kinda funny, but I honestly don't care about the story of the Antonio quitting. It just feels kinda forced, only that they can say in the end that anybody can make a difference, which is a cool message, but I have issues with it and how it was delivered in this episode. Nelson was okay, overall decent episode but has problems, 7 out of 10. The backstory was really good. I was always wondering, we all know that the four main elements are supposed to be fire, water, air, and earth, and those are known as the four elements of creation, so I was wondering how the first Penjitsu master replaced water and air by lightning and ice to create Ninjago. But now it seems like wind and water were actually used to create Ninjago as well, which is interesting. And yet though is really confusing. How did she become the first master of water while Wajira exists? It's kinda confusing. So overall I really like the backstory of this episode. The rest is okay, just more action, until the end where we see Shintaro again, which is easily the biggest shock of the season. I was not expecting Shintaro to return as a new Ninjago. They introduced a new location and a ton of new characters each season, but we never see them again. But we saw Shintaro again, which is really cool. So overall, this is a really good episode, but the middle portion will not give it a 10 out of 10. So I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. This is a really interesting episode. I love how it shows us what the ninja will do when they think that they won, which is something we saw in season 8 as well. The J reference was really cool and I just like these casual scenes. The stuff with the storm and all was really interesting to watch as well. Then we have the scenes where all the devices were glowing red and telling people to leave the city. That's just so awesome to watch and I love that idea. The city feels alive in here and it's really enjoyable to watch. This episode has a fantastic idea and it was really well done. Gluttonous is a terrible character and I hated his appearances, but overall this is a really good episode, my second favorite episode in New Ninjago and easily the best from season 15. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. This episode continues episode 13 and it's also really good. I like how the city was drowned and it reminds me of what happened in season 10 with the Oni Cloud. That's really similar to this. The ninja helping random citizens and trying to save them was really cool to watch, like the kids using a bathtub as a boat. That was kind of funny. Theirs is just being Dareth. Action is really good and the J stuff is also good. Overall really good episode, but it's mostly action and didn't feel as impressive as episode 13. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Season 15 had a 4-part finale, but this episode is where stuff gets super interesting. This episode has the second most emotional scene in all of New Ninjago. The scene where Jay was shocking and Nia is talking to him is just awesome. The dialogue is great and that scene as a whole is great. Then Nia jumps in the water and becomes this crazy creature. Everything's just super well done. The police commissioner scene was good, and overall this is just a fantastic scene with one of the most emotional scenes in all of Ninjago. And I'm happy to make this the first episode to get a 10 out of 10 since episode 98 endings. Now to the very last episode. The fight scenes are awesome, especially the water dragon vs Wajira, an amazing monster fight. I love this new form of Nia, it's really menacing and mysterious. I liked when Jay joined the fight and lightning was going through his body. You also have the fight scene between the ninja and the Merlipians, which really reminded me of the fight between the ninja and the black skeletons at the end of season 13. The camera angles and the fluidity is just next level stuff. It's so enjoyable to watch. The final scene between Calamar and Balthamar was great development for the lighter and was really needed for his character. Then we get my favorite scene in all of New Ninjago. The scene where Nia is talking to the ninja before she goes away. I love the emotion in that scene, it was done unbelievably well. Jay seemed really sad about it and he was ready to do anything for her to stay, but there is no hope. The Nia he loved is now gone. Also the reaction of the other characters was really good. I don't think that this is Ninjago's saddest scene, there are other ones that were way sadder, but this is easily one of the best. It was extremely well done. And the scene in the end to honor her was really good and with all the characters coming in one place. Another 10 out of 10. We also honored Kirby more in the end, and which was necessary as this is Kirby's last episode as Cole. So yeah, we finished reviewing each episode of Seabound. This was a pretty good season. It has ups and downs, but I still enjoyed it. I'm not going to talk about the whole season a lot as the final review of the season and all of that stuff is coming soon. So yeah, that's all for today's video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to tell me in the comments what you think of this video and what you think of season 15 and all these episodes. So yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, share to friends, and I'll see you next time.